In today's SMC Outlook, I have a bunch of charts lined up for you guys because markets right now are sitting at a point where either we could get some more relief next week or a continuation of the trends that we've seen. And I'm going to show you exactly how to differentiate between the two. So we're talking about the DXY, the euro, the pound. We've got some commodity charts with gold, silver, and oil, and then wrapping up with Nasdaq and Bitcoin. So my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So guys, let's start here with the DXY on the daily time frame. So in recent videos now, really for months, we've talked about this change of character back here. This is why I was looking for a higher low back here. Okay, we had the bullish change of character following the BOS back here in early 2026. So this right here is what flipped the trend from bearish in 2025 to bullish now in 2026. And furthermore too, if you look at the monthly time frame, we've also talked about this as well, but you can see where this is a really nice channel here from the DXY. So you can see where the US dollar index is coming off of this area down here. We also have some imbalances up here around 103.70 and 106 that I've also mentioned in previous videos. So those remain my target for 2026 simply because we are now starting to see the DXY break out of this range. So as long as we close June above these highs back here, I think this looks pretty good for the push up here toward 103.7, possibly 106 over the coming months. Okay, so let's now talk about the shorter term stuff here. Going back here to, let's start with the 4-hour time frame. And before we get to that, I'm often asked what my recommended broker is, and that has to be IC Markets. So right now with my link, they are going to give you a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. And then every deposit after that, they're going to give you a bonus of 50% up to $25,000. So they're going to give you $26,000, which is basically free money you can trade with through my link. So I'll put my link in the description of this video. I'll also put it up here in the corner so you can just click that, head over there and sign up to IC Markets. Now on top of that too, if you deposit $10,000 or more in your account, I will grant you lifetime access to our Discord group, which is also the full course, the full SMC course. And I'm in Discord every single day, posting trade ideas, posting my trades in real time. And then again, you're going to get that full SMC course as well with over 20 videos. Okay, so looking at the DXY right now on the 4-hour time frame, you can see where right now, this is the level I mentioned last week. So you can see what happened back here. We had the market basically trending within this channel here, and we broke out to the upside. Now, the DXY managed to, at least so far in the 4-hour, hold above this. However, I am recording this with a few hours left in Friday's session. So what's going to be key going into next week is if we go to a daily time frame, here's what I'm watching. So this low right here from Thursday, if I snap a level right here to this low and drag this over, this is the low that I'm watching into Friday's close. So when you're watching this after Friday's close, because I'm not going to publish the video until then, this right here is going to matter because if we close basically below this Thursday low, then we have the daily bias to the downside, okay? And we're looking at a possible push down here toward areas like 100.5. Now, on the other hand, if we hold above here, then it shows the DXY failed to close below here. That doesn't automatically mean the bottom is in, but it does show strength for the DXY. Now, what's interesting about this is this right here, guys, is not enough to just blindly place a trade. I want to be clear about that. This is just going to show you a bias, okay? Now, in terms of a trade setup, if you'll notice, that same low from Thursday is this one right here. Okay, so this low right here, if I remove this here and snap a level right here to the low and label this as our BOS, because that's exactly what it is. So this is a break of structure to the downside, right? This showed that right here, sellers were still in control. So we can use this next week because what this means is the protected high within this short-term downtrend is this high right up here. So if I now take a level right off of this high here, you can see that's right around 101.57 and move this over, then this is going to be the level that buyers have to take out to trigger a bottom for the DXY. Okay, so if the DXY closes above this high up here next week, then we have a bottom in. In my opinion, we're probably headed back toward about 102.5. Okay, so that's how I'm looking at this here. Now, if we don't do that, and especially if Friday closes below this over here, remember this is the Thursday low. If Friday's session closes below here, then in my opinion, we could get a further slide from the DXY next week. Okay, and in that case, what I'm looking at here is going to be the 4-hour time frame coming back here. In fact, let's go to a daily. You can see this trend line right back here. Now, what's interesting about this is if we were to get a further pullback from the DXY next week, we've got imbalances like these candles back here, okay? So depending on when this happens, if it were to happen, I would be eyeing areas like this right here, right around 100.5, okay, down here in this region. So again, I don't know if we're going to get this yet. We have to wait for this to set up on Friday. But if we do get a further pullback from the DXY down here toward this area, this is where I'll be looking to do business for that push up toward 102.5. Okay, so I think this is a pretty clean look here for the DXY. Like I said, though, it's really going to come down to what happens here around that Thursday low, as well as this level up here, in terms of whether or not this is going to be the bottom for the DXY, or we are likely to get a further push down here toward 100.5 first. But all in all, it's pretty clear when you look at this on the daily time frame and just kind of move out that this right now is a bullish market. Okay, so you can even over here off of this high, now that we've had a change of character, you can basically call this over here now a break of structure on the daily. Okay, because we had the change of character over here. Okay, so close above over here, we had that higher low form, and now we've confirmed it with this BOS. Okay, so buys only for me, guys, but on pullbacks, right? That's the key. I want to buy low. I do not want to try to buy high. Okay, so with the euro now, with that in mind, what we can do is flip over to the euro and say, okay, well, let's use this as our barometer for what's going to happen or likely to happen with the euro and the pound. Okay, so if we know that this Thursday low is going to be key, as is this level up here for the DXY, then we can essentially just do the inverse here for the euro. Okay, so you can see here on the daily time frame, you've got the Thursday high, which the euro is trading at right now as I'm making this video. If we close above here, then you have daily bias pointed to the upside, in which case you've got areas like this back here. You've got obviously this candle back here following FOMC, but that right there could give us some more relief toward areas like the DXY down here toward 100.5. Okay, so you see how that works, right? If we close above this Thursday high, then again, your bias, my bias on the daily time frame is going to be pointed a bit higher next week to get some relief here before a possible short. Okay, now in terms of SMC, let's take a look at this here, because we have this BOS right back here, and we also on a 4-hour time frame, we also have this BOS back here as well. So if we take from this high up here down here to the low, so external high to external low, what we can see here is that premium starts to come in above these highs back here. And we have OTE, optimal trade entry, right there at that FOMC candle. Okay, so like I mentioned with the pound last week in a video, I would love to see the euro get up here for a short. I don't know if we're going to get that high, but really anything above these highs right here is fair game for me to short. Okay, I can look for shorts up here. I don't have to wait for OTE, right around 1.15. If we get up here in this region next week, then I will be looking for a lower time frame change of character to get short. And that's all based, within the context of this descending channel here. Okay, so here's our bearish change of character on the daily. You can see that since these highs and lows back here in this area, we do have the euro moving really nicely within this descending channel. Okay, so if we get the setup, up here into premium, looking for shorts there for the push down here into the 110 region. Of course, 112 does come before that. That's the low from back here in 2025. Okay, so you can see that going back here toward this candle, this is the 112 low right here, and then you've got 110 just below that. Okay, so overall still bearish on the euro. No reason at all to get bullish on this market, especially because we did see this market breaking below these lows back here. So this is basically breaking to fresh 12-month lows here for the euro. But I am looking for shorts. However, we have to get up here in the premium because I want to short high. I cannot short low based on my rules. So very similar situation here for the pound. And you can see here on the daily, a lot more sideways than the euro. And furthermore too, on the 4-hour, we do have a new break of structure below this low back here. Okay, so on the 4-hour, we did close below here, indicating that sellers remain in control. However, if we look here from external high to external low, even if we take this one here, which technically this up here is our external high, but even if we take this one, what you'll notice is that premium comes in right up here above this line, basically above this low back here. So for me to short this market, I have to be looking for this up here, right? And so you can also see following FOMC, we also have this huge displacement candle, a lot of inefficiencies back here for the pound, to where if we were to get above 1.33, I will be looking for shorts. That's a lower time frame change of character. I've made videos on this before, but I will be looking for shorts up here in this area. Okay, so that's my game plan for the pound. And even if you use this high up here, which again, this is technically the external high here, you can see it's pretty much the same, right? It's pretty much the same where the 50% comes in right about here at this high. And so anything up here into this wick, or I'm sorry, this candle, is going to be fair game for a short if we get there. If we don't, guys, then I can't short this. I can't justify trying to short a market down here at the lows, especially when you consider that right now we are testing this low back here, okay? I can't justify looking for shorts down here, and nor can I do it based on my rules. My rules say I have to wait for premium. Okay, so that's ideally what we get. Again, as far as the DXY, what that could look like is possibly the DXY moving down here into trend lines like this down here, right around 100.5. It could be a bit lower if it were to happen early in the week. It could be as low as 100.1 or 100.2. It just depends on when it happens and obviously if it happens. So let's move along here to gold XAUUSD. Now, if you guys want to see exactly how I trade SMC, then check out the link on the screen. That's going to be a free SMC training that will show you exactly how I trade full time. It's completely free. Just click the link, enter your name, email address, and get access. Okay, so looking at gold, what we have here is the market giving us a new BOS on the 4-hour, okay? So before we get to that, let's take a look here at the daily, because we've talked about all these levels before. And what we talked about going into FOMC as well is that this right here, this level at about 43.33, this is the yearly open for gold. And what happened going into FOMC is we had the first weekly close below. Notice what became resistance. So going into FOMC, I said this was resistance. Gold looked like it was in trouble. Going into FOMC, I said the same thing about silver. Sure enough, that has played out really nicely. Now, we haven't quite seen the retest down here at 38.95, so this is still a target for me. I'm still looking for this low down here within this downtrend. And also there's, as I said before, guys, there's nothing here, even on something like a 1-hour time frame, to indicate the bottom is in. Because even this right here, all of this right here is just internal to this price leg, okay? So all this is right now, in my opinion, is just relief within a downtrend. So when we look at the 4-hour time frame, let's take a look at this here. When we look at this here, we have a new breakup structure to the downside, right? We close below this low back here. So this shows us that sellers remain in control. Again, there's no reason to be bullish here because we have sellers in control with that BOS. So from external high to assuming this is going to be the low here, the external low, okay, or temporary low, then you have this area right back here. So basically anything above this right here into this congestion is going to be premium, okay? So this is what I would have to wait for. Now, if we were to get gold making a new low, okay, down here first, and then bouncing from here, that's going to change things. Okay, it's going to change where we draw our fibs. It's going to look more like this, in which case I could short up here, right? But the bottom line is that I need to see it move into premium, above the 50% here within this downtrend in order for me to look for shorts. Okay, so right now, guys, it is just relief. There's no sign of a bottom here, in my opinion, and really structurally, again, it would be very, very difficult to make the case that there is any bottom in place here, anything confirmed at least for gold in terms of a bottom. Now, I will say, looking at the daily chart, if we just look at our daily bias, right, you've got this high here from Thursday. So if Friday does close below or above here on Friday, then you've got the market giving you the close above this high, in which case we're looking, or I'm looking at this imbalance back here, this candle. So I would love to see the market move up here into this pocket right around 41.40, 41.60. That would be a great area for me to look for shorts. And if we take a look here at how that lines up with what we just looked at, okay, so talking about like the 41.60 area, if we just take this high back here and put our fibs back on the chart, you can see where this level up here, okay, that's going to be very, very close to the 50%. However, if we tap into this area, right, this area back here, that's all I need, guys. This is all I need here to look for shorts. So again, the way this lines up with the daily time frame is we have a lot of imbalances back here, right? We've got all of these candles. This candle right here is an imbalance. Even back here, this candle's an imbalance as well, right there in OTE, okay? So I need to see the market push higher here into premium above this area, into this region up here to look for a change of character to get short with targets like 38.95. And then possibly over the coming weeks, we get gold pushing down here into this breakout level from 2025 around 34.35. Okay. The jury is obviously out on that, but again, right now, shorts only for me while this downtrend is intact. Okay. So moving along here to silver. So same thing, going into FOMC, I showed the 5-day chart and this candle right here. So first of all, this is the yearly open for silver as well. So this level right around 71.33, and this was the first close going into FOMC. This was the FOMC high, and you can see what served as resistance right here. So that also played out really nicely. Now, you'll also see that right now, silver is holding below levels like this right here at 61.64. So you can see we've got the low back here, we've got this low here, and now we have imbalances on the way down, okay? So these two candles right here. So far, we are starting to mitigate this first one. However, we still have this candle up here. We also have a fair value gap off of this low. Basically, this entire pocket up here is a fair value gap. So very similar to gold, I'll be looking for a push up here into this area. And if we look at the 4-hour time frame, what you'll notice here is that we have a BOS. So off of this low over here, let's connect it with this low. And this is going to be our BOS in the 4-hour, okay? Now, you can make the case that these are, this is a separate leg right here lower. In my opinion, though, this is really just all one price leg, okay? So therefore, it makes sense to call this right here a BOS, right? We had the low, we had the push up, the retracement, we even took out these highs, and then this right here is your external high. This now is your, so far, your temporary low or your external low. Now, like I mentioned with gold, though, what's really going to be key is if early next week, we see silver pushing down here below the lows and testing this support level and then bouncing from here, then this is now going to be my new external low, okay? So it is a bit of a moving target. However, the key with this is that I'm not looking for a short blindly into premium. I need to see that confirmation on the low timeframes anyway. So it doesn't really matter all that much. But just assuming that this down here is going to be our lows, you can see where if we go to a daily time frame, right? Notice how we have this candle right here as our imbalance, okay? And the fair value gap off here at this low, if we were to see silver push up here into this area, that would technically be enough for me to look for a low time frame short. Now, ideally, okay, this gets a little bit granular, but ideally we see silver, if that were to happen, test this level and then give us something intraday up here and close back below 61.64. Because really, if we're getting daily closes back above here after closing below, that would start to look a little bit more bullish here for silver. Okay, so shorts only for me right now, guys. On the way down, I mean, obviously a downtrend. There's no reason to be bullish here with the market breaking to fresh lows that we haven't seen since all the way back here in December of last year. And lastly, too, before we move on, the 12-month time frame, we've looked at this before, but this right here, if we do see this trend continue here for silver, this $48 level is, in my opinion, the one to watch. Because you've got this high back here from 1980, you've got this high here. This is a 46-year level, big time level for silver that could, first of all, draw the market lower, sort of act as a magnet for this market, drag it lower down here toward this area. And then once we get there, that is obviously going to be a level that a lot of people are paying attention to. So most likely a bounce, significant bounce from that level down here, 48, if we get there over the coming weeks. Okay, so let's move along here to US oil WTI. So I mentioned this one a few weeks ago, and at the time we were trading, quite a bit higher. And so far this has played out really well because I haven't traded this. I want to be clear. I have not traded this yet. I am still looking for the push down here into 66.7. Now, your chart could vary. It depends on what feed you're looking at, what market is it, futures, is it CFDs, it depends on what you're looking at. This level here could be at, 68 on your chart. However, what's key is going back here toward this early March breakout. So this really is when WTI took off. And what you can see here is that off of this high, you can see this is basically where WTI went parabolic, right? Straight up. And so what I want to see is I want to see the market essentially mitigate this entire move up, this inception point. And so for this chart, it comes in at 66.69. Now, if you want to use this exact chart, this is the CFD chart on FXCM. So check that out on TradingView and you can get this exact same chart. And what you'll also notice too is that we do have confluence down there based on this channel. So these two lows right here, this is a parallel channel. You can see where so far oil is tapping into this. And this is exactly why oil bounced on Thursday, technically anyway. Okay, so if you look at this technically, right, look at these lows. Okay, there's a reason why oil is doing this. But what you'll also notice is that we took out this low over here. So there's a good chance, given this downtrend we've seen from WTI, look, you don't often get a market giving you this kind of a drop and then just putting in one wick and then going straight back up, right? It just doesn't happen. Typically, the market is going to chop around here. The market's going to liquidate early longs, and then finally you get the market putting in a bottom, okay? So what I'm looking for is basically, I want to see traders get chopped up down here first. I want to see traders get chopped up. I want to avoid that chop, and then I'm looking for the change of character down here off of this level, okay? Now, here's what will be key is once we get down there is a 15-minute chart. Now, what you'll notice is that over here, we technically had a change of character. And we talked about this in Discord. People said, is this good enough? I said, for me, it's not, because I want to see the market push down here to mitigate this entire breakout, which for me is down here at this level. Okay. Now for you, it could be different, right? This isn't financial advice, but for me, I want to see this entire move mitigated. So what that means is I need to see the market push down here, whether it doesn't matter if it happens from current levels, but I need to see the market push down here into this area, lower highs and lower lows, tap this level, mitigate that full breakout, and then from there, give me the change of character. So this right here, okay, this BOS, change of character, higher low. This is exactly what I'll be looking for down here in this area, okay? And as for targets, if we get that, then my target here is going to be all the way up at about $90. So if we go to, let's say, a 3-day time frame or even a 5-day, and you look back here, it's pretty clear that these lows right back here, this would be my target. Okay, so pretty close to 90. And if you go to a daily time frame, what you'll notice is that this is the candle where it really started, right? Obviously trending lower since before that time, but this right here, this candle up here is really where this very aggressive move lower started. And this candle is also just one massive inefficiency. Okay, so right there around 90. So this would be my target. And if I'm able to get an entry, let's say next week or the week after, down here in this area, then that right there could be worth, let's say I can get in down here in this area, you're looking at about a $20 move, about 30% for oil. So obviously a huge move here, huge potential if I'm able to get the entry. But waiting for confirmation obviously is key. And I will be sure to discuss this in real time in Discord as I always do, and also share any trades that I end up taking here on oil. All right, so let's take a look at the Nasdaq here. And this is starting to get really interesting, guys, because we have basically a couple things happening here. We have, first of all, a BOS off of this high. We've talked about this before. We have a change of character, right? The close below that protected low down here. And so far, technically, this is a lower high than this one. So we never took out this high over here, meaning that this change of character was always valid, okay? Now, on top of that, we talked about this in Discord last week, but what you'll notice here is that we have the potential for a diamond top, okay? So really, really clean pattern. And so far, what you'll notice about this lower level down here is that if we look here at these lows, you can see where the market has actually found support here. Okay, so Wednesday and Thursday, we bounced basically right from the level. Right now, the Nasdaq is testing that level as I'm making this video on Friday. So we will see, what happens, right? I'm not saying that this is a breakdown. If the market closes here, right at this level, then that's not enough for me to call it a breakdown. We could still see a bounce next week. But I do think we're getting potentially close toward a breakdown here. Now, what's actually really interesting here is if we take a price range. So from this intersection of these two levels up here, down here toward this bottom one, take this, copy it over, move it down here toward a potential breakout point. What you'll notice is you get an area very close to 26,400, okay? And that's significant because if we go back here, notice what we have, okay? We have these highs. So this could just be a case of the Nasdaq moving back to backfill the breakout that we saw back here, okay? So could that be a coincidence? Of course. But it does look pretty promising from a technical standpoint, okay? So for me, what I need to see here is, looking back here in this area, right? Let's look at this lower high that developed. So there really wasn't a lot to do here, unfortunately, in terms of SMC, because you had this high back here, you had the change of character, we had the push up, and this was really just one big price leg, okay? And so the problem here is that you had this high, you had the pullback, you had internal, we swept the high, and then just move lower, right? So there was never any kind of, push up, pull back, and then a change of character, right? Something really nice like that to play. So really for me, if we get below here convincingly next week, then I will just be looking for a retest. And then from that retest, looking for a change of character to possibly get short. Okay. So that's really it. I do think that this market is starting to look really top heavy up here with the combination of this change of character and also this possible diamond pattern that is forming. If this sets up, then obviously you've got targets like this area down here just above 28K. And then again, these highs back here around 26,200. Okay. So let's move on to BTC. So we have talked about this before. I mentioned this before, but what you'll notice is that this weekly level, I talked about this before we even tested it back here in this area. So this weekly level right around 65,700, you can see we've got all these lows back here. We tested it, we wicked above it, and that right there was a nice short. You can even see where we retested it here last week. Okay, that was the weekly high. So really nice level. You could have shorted, from 65K basically down towards 60K, this low over here. So really nice move there. And in fact, I will say too, this 4-hour trend line right here, I did actually short this in Discord. So I mentioned 63K in real time. I told members about this as it was happening. I announced a short entry right here in real time. And so far I'm still in that one. I'm also still in my short. Believe it or not, I'm still in my short. And look, Discord members know this because I call this stuff in real time. I also announced my exits in real time up here just above 80K. Okay, I got short up here. I'm still short and I have no intentions right now of exiting. Okay, so what's going to be key for BTC? And this is really interesting. So first of all, you can see where we have this trend line off of these lows. This was tested over here twice. Okay, so 2 retests here. Now, the level I want to talk to you about though is this low one right here at 60K, exactly at 60K. This low right here is exactly at $60,000. And what you'll notice here is if we move over, you can see where Bitcoin did not close a day below it over here. Okay, we held above it as support. Now, if we move over to last week, what you'll notice is that Thursday actually closed below. It was only about $200 below. However, this, in my opinion, could be critical. And the key here for this to be critical is going to be where we close on Friday. If we close below here, then it's confirmed with one more daily close below. Okay. If obviously we close the week below here, then again, it's confirmed that we now have a weekly close below 60K. So I think this is what's going to be, critical for BTC. Now, if we were to close back above 60K on like the daily or weekly timeframes, then that could give the market some relief back here toward this area. Okay. But right now we are holding below 60K on a daily closing basis. I think that could be important for BTC. You can see the same thing on the total crypto market cap chart. So it's not just this chart. It's not just one level. It's across the entire market. Okay. And in terms of, what I'm looking for over the coming weeks, my target remains mid 40K, right? I've talked about this before and I have no reason to change this. You can see the displacement back here in this area. Furthermore, I've removed these levels, but if you'll notice from this bear flag back here, right? If you treat this right here as the flagpole and this right here is your flag, then basically this height from this high down here to the low, if you take that same height, measure it lower from this high, you get an area right here around 44K. All right. So this is also the measured objective of this recent bear flag that broke down. All right. So that is my target, remains my target. It has been my target now for over a month. So yeah, guys, I think 60K is going to be the one to watch here over the weekend and into next week. Like I said, if we close above here on the daily, then we could see some more, relief here for BTC back toward this area. If we don't though, and we hold below 60K, then I think we're looking at lower prices for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market over the coming weeks. So that's it for today's video. I truly hope it helped. Be sure to check out that free SMC training that is going to show you exactly how I trade SMC full time. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again next week.